All right, welcome back to Udemy Masterclass. This is part 7, create your content. Okay, film and edit. Consider taking breaks and reviewing frequently, right? So check often for any changes such as new noises. Be aware of your energy levels while filming can tire you out, and that can translate to the screen or into your actual teachings, right? Consider filming yourself to build rapport with your students, right? Students want to know who's teaching them sometimes. Even for a course that is mostly screencast, film yourself for your introduction at least. That's a good idea. But remember, again, this is optional if you don't have a webcam. But then again, you could always use your iPhone or Android and do it. Put your camera in selfie mode, or have a friend or relative or somebody film you with their phone and then import the video that way or something like that. Or go, the extra mile and film yourself introducing each section. I mean, that's just another option, right? And then practice makes perfect. So, do as many retakes as you need to get it right. If you're doing on video, make eye contact with the camera and speak very, very clearly as you possibly can. Sometimes it's not always that easy. Sometimes you need to do a few practice runs in order to get things to flow, right? And then consider editing out long pauses, mistakes, ums and ahs, right? So film a few extra activities or images that you can add later in your course to cover those cuts, perhaps, or just cut them out altogether. It's completely up to you. Consider creating audio marks such as a clap or series of claps, right? Clap when you start each take to easily locate the audio spike during editing. You can use Udemy's guides to manage your recording day efficiently, all right? And then consider prepping your screen before you start filming, right? So move unrelated files and folders off your desktop and open any tabs in advance. Make on-screen text at least 24 point and use the zooming feature in your recording software to do some highlighting. That'll definitely be helpful. Video and filming requirements. Need to film in HD and export videos in 720 or 1080p. Need audio to be synced with your video and come out of both the right and left channels, or left and right channels, in stereo, not monotone, as I've spoken about earlier. Need audio to be free of any echoes and other background noises that may be distracting to students. All right, and now we're going to jump over to curriculum, and I'm going to show you how to create a section, a lecture, etc. Here's where you're going to add your course content, right? So this is going to be your course sections, which are required. You need to probably have one for an example introduction. Then maybe you're going to call it part 1, part 2, etc. Lectures are also required. These are going to be your videos or your articles. And then you can also add assignments, which are completely optional. You can also have quizzes, which are another option. And let me hop over there to Udemy and show you how to do this. All right, so we're over here at Udemy, and we're in our first course that we're in draft mode of, and we are in the curriculum section. We clicked on curriculum, and this is where we're going to build out our course. So you see when I hover, you see that little plus with the little outline, okay? If you hover around, you'll see different things show up, and like there's another plus with an outline. It gets, if you haven't done this before, it's a little confusing, but now that I'm teaching you how to do this, it will be very, very simple. Udemy is nice enough to give you your very first section called Introduction with your very first lecture, which is also Introduction. So they've already built out the first section for you, because you'll have an introduction section with an introduction video. Okay, so what you'll do is once you can rename it by hitting the edit button here if you want. You can add a learning objective if you like, and then save the section or cancel. Then down here, same thing applies. With the introduction, you can change the name of it if you want, and save it, the lecture, or hit cancel. Okay, so the way the section thing works is if I want to add another section, I click the plus button here, and it'll be new section, and I can put in, like I said, part 1. Okay, which might be just part 1. And then I might not add any type of learning objective, and I'll hit add section. Now you see the order here is unpublished section, And the reason it's unpublished is because we don't have any lecture in it yet. It can't be published till we add a lecture. So, also you see it's in the wrong order, right? Right now we have part 1 above introduction. We definitely do not want that. You see the 4-way arrow icon on the screen. You can just drag and drop. At least you're supposed to be able to. There we go. So I guess pulling it down instead of pulling it up was a better option for doing that. And then what we're going to do is in this unpublished section, we need to add a lecture. So we have to hit plus right there, and now we can add at least a lecture, a quiz, a coding exercise, assignment, right? And so we can't actually add a practice test until we set a price for our course. But what we definitely can do is add a lecture. We need to add a lecture, so this will be, whatever it might be. In my courses, I always go with part 1, 10,000 foot overview. Add a lecture. Okay? So that's how we're adding sections, and if you want to add another section, you can do so either right here, and it always puts it in the wrong order by doing so that way, but whatever, it is what it is. So we're going to make this part 2, and then we're going to hit add section, and then because we don't want it in that order, we're going to drag, I guess we got to drag down in order to get our sections moved around. So now our new section part 2 should be part 1. It's renamed incorrectly. So this new section should be part 2, save section. And our, okay, some stuff bounced around, but this is what's going to happen to you, so this is perfect. So what we're going to do here is our 10,000 foot overview needs to go into a section. Then we're going to name it part 1 in this particular case. Okay, save section. Then we have unpublished section part 2, but remember we're going to have to add another lecture. So if you do that, add a lecture. Okay, you have to give it a title of some sort. I don't know what this might be, so we're just going to put test. Okay, this might be whatever the next subtopic is in your course. Okay, so that's how we add sections, and then with each section you have to add at least a lecture. Okay, let me go back over to the training. So now we're going to cover lecture description. Here you may want to explain what this lecture is all about to give your students some idea of what they're about to watch. Okay, and then of course we have our course resources, and we can add resources that complement a lecture. I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. We can do a downloadable file. We can add from our library through the bulk upload feature, which I'll show you how to do. And external resource, which could be like a website URL. And then we have source code, which is pretty much only applicable to coding courses for like Python and Ruby, etc., etc. All right. And then of course there's what we call captions. Captions are completely optional. Captions can be added manually, or captions will automatically be added if your videos are in English, US English. Okay, so let me head back over to Udemy and show you a couple of these things. All right, so we're back in our Udemy and we're in the curriculum for our very first draft of our first course. And again, what we just covered was lecture information that we can add, like a description. So if we click the plus description, we can type in, add a description, include what students will be able to do after completing the lecture, or even giving them some preface to exactly what's going to be taught in that particular lecture. So you can write that information in here if you want to, and then save it. And then here's where we can add resources for a lecture. So we can do a downloadable file. So we would just hit select file, and then it would upload that file from our computer, from a hard drive, to Udemy for distribution in the course itself for this particular lecture. And it says here, note, a resource is for any type of document that can be used to help students in the lecture. This file is going to be seen as a lecture extra. Make sure everything is legible and the file size is less than 1 gigabyte. Okay, you can add from library, right? So we don't have any files in our library. We would have to actually use our bulk uploader here to create files to be added to our library. And you can do that by clicking on bulk uploader. and then either dragging and dropping all your files in here from your computer, or you can connect to a Dropbox folder, or you can connect to your Google Drive, or you can connect to Box, or you can connect to OneDrive, or whatever. There's all these options, and you can do whatever you want here if you have a bunch of resources you'd rather connect to than uploading directly from your computer. Okay. And then we have external resource. So this would be where you put in a descriptive title of whatever that resource might be. So it could be the name of a website. It could be more descriptive than that. Depends on what you want to do, and then put in the URL to that particular resource, whether it's the home page of a website, or it's a direct link to a blog post, or it's a URL to a file they can access, or something elsewhere. Totally up to you. And then we have source code, which I said is only available for Python and Ruby for now, and you can upload your .py or .rb files here if you're teaching either something about Python or Ruby. Okay, and if you're done or you don't want to add anymore, you can click the X button and it'll come back to here. You can collapse this lecture, and then of course if you want, you could add additional lectures by simply clicking the plus button and then adding a lecture, and then having to give it a title here. Like this could be, intro to, you wouldn't do this probably, but this is just giving you an example of how you could add multiple lectures inside of a section. And then of course you can move them around so that lecture 1 is first and then lecture 2 is second. And then if you choose not to have this lecture, you don't want it, you can click the little trash can icon and delete it. Okay, so that pretty much covers how to build out your course with your content. Remember, every time you create a lecture, click on plus content, and then when you do that, select the content type. So this is either going to be a video, or a video plus slide mashup, or an article. You're primarily going to do video, and when you do, you're just going to click on video and then select the video from your computer, and then of course all files should be at least 720p and less than 4 gigabytes in size, or you can add them from your library from here too. If we back up a step and we go to content again, if you do a video slide mashup, what you would be doing is you'd be picking a video and then picking a presentation or a PDF, or something like it says here, presentation means slides, e.g. PowerPoint, Keynote, Google Slides, whatever. Slides are a great way to combine text and visuals to explain concepts in an effective and efficient way, use meaningful graphics and clearly legible text, and then you would be able to synchronize the presentation to the video. It's a lot of extra professional stuff that you can do to make your courses feel more robust and professional, but honestly, you don't need to be doing this. I don't do this in my courses. I've yet to use this feature. And then of course the last option is the article. So if you were to do an article, you could literally type in or copy and paste in an article here, and then edit the HTML, do some formatting and all that sort of thing as well, and then save it. So it would show up as an article in your lecture right inside the course. Okay, so those are your options. Like I said, primarily you're going to pick video and use video for each one of your lectures, most likely. All right, so that's all I have for you in this training video. I will see you in the next training video.